Hey there everyone, it's Misty here from TheJollyFatElf. Happy Friday! Welcome back to another card. So in yesterday's video, I mentioned that I was going to be using the Reindeer kitty in today's video. The stamp is from Whimsy Stamp. I think you can find this one on Simon Says Stamps, but I bought it straight from their website. And I'm coloring her today using my Stampin' Blends, and I'm coloring her to look like Roxy Kitty minus the white striations that she has. So I am using light basic black and then both of the smoky slate markers, just trying to add a little bit of blending in dimension. Unfortunately, it's kind of hard to do that sometimes with these markers because they're sort of far apart, but I really love how she turned out. Initially, I did try coloring her with my blender pen, and I just couldn't get the blend to look how I wanted it to. That's one thing that's great about alcohol markers. And like I mentioned, you can do this with Sharpies, you can do this with the Bic, permanent markers. You can do this with Spectrum Noir that you can get at Joann's with a coupon. You don't always have to use expensive Copics, but there is just something about the smoothness that you get with the blend from alcohol markers that is just absolutely just so pretty, and I love it. But I did mention that I am getting Copics for Christmas, but I will be using other forms of coloring as well. I don't know how much I'll do of watercoloring because honestly, I think everybody does it, and they do so well at it, and I just have never really mastered it. So maybe we'll play around with it. I don't know. So I'm just coloring a little Roxy Kitty here. If you missed it, she made an appearance in yesterday's video, and she will be making another appearance on my Facebook page next Thursday. It was really funny because she kind of went mini viral because I posted that last video of her, and it got like 130,000 views. I was like, what? It was kind of crazy, but yeah, so I'm definitely going to be using the stamp set next year for our Christmas cards. I'm going to make our cards and I'm going to make them ahead, and then I'm a procrastinator and a crafter, and that just gets me to where I'm like, it's like a week before Christmas, and we need to mail out Christmas cards. I think one year we mailed them out like December 23rd. So it's the thought that counts. Okay. So yeah. So just finishing up her here. And don't forget that you'll want to come back tomorrow so we can talk about the giveaway. Hopefully I'll get that posted pretty early. If you are a newsletter subscriber, it will be coming out to you as well. I apologize to those of you who are newsletter subscribers and those of you who are hanging around the Patreon. I do hope to get back on a better schedule for the new year. I do have a Patreon page, and I've gone back and forth. When I very first started it, it was just too much. I was giving too much of myself. Like I was giving so much away free, which was a lot of labor for me. And unfortunately, that's just not something I can do. But I would love to build that community again. So if you're interested, it's always linked down below. And then for my newsletter, oh my word, I swear that I'm active and then I'm not active, and then I'm active and I'm not active. So hopefully with the new year, I will be able to get into a groove that works. Now with the autoimmune disease and, especially one that causes mobility issues, sometimes I can't do everything that I want to, but I'm going to try my best, and that's my pledge to you guys. So as far as the giveaway tomorrow, it is my 10,000 subscriber giveaway. If you guys are new, welcome. Thank you so much. I wasn't anticipating getting so many of you so quickly, but I really appreciate every one of you who have hit that subscribe button. If you haven't, and this is your first video, hello, my name is Misty. I am TheJollyFatElf. I was a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator for 4 years, I think, and I've recently resigned from that position due to the health issues and a couple of other things that are just beyond my control. So I am starting to incorporate other crafting companies into my videos. I'm not going away. I'm still going to try to do 3 videos a week. I still want to get back to where I'm filming with my face. But of course, best laid planned. So we'll just keep our fingers crossed and know that I will try to get you 3 videos a week. They may not always be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but I do try to upload Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. Central. I have a Facebook group and a Facebook page down below. So if you go and join either of those, you'll be kept up to date. I do try to update that as soon as possible. I do have an At Home with Misty as well, if you're interested in any of the health issues. Or I've been doing keto on and off now for almost 2 years, which is kind of crazy to say. So yeah, so back to the coloring. I'm using Pool Party and Highland Heather because I'm using that paper pack from Authentique that I hauled in my Simon Says stamp haul. No, a cherry on top haul, and that was over a month ago, I think. And I know antlers aren't purple, but they can be pretend antlers, okay? So you saw me bring out a couple of gel pens and a Sharpie. I'm going to color in the berries using the gel pen just to add a little bit more glitter and sparkle. And then I ended up using the Sharpie marker, you'll see here in a minute, to color the bells. And then I ended up putting something on top of them. So yeah, using garden green, not garden green, I keep saying that, Granny Apple Green to color the holly leaves. That is my favorite green from Stampin' Up. I do miss Gumball Green, although this is kind of close. And I also miss Cucumber Crush. But yeah, so here I was deciding, am I going to cut this out with a die? Am I going to just cut this out with my paper trimmer? And in the end, I decided to just cut it out with a paper trimmer. Just because she's kind of big, and if I'd cut off the Ball Humbug stamp, it might have been a little bit easier, but it just wasn't. And there's a peek at those new rectangle dies from Stampin' Up! That you guys will see when I show my haul next week. So here's that pack of paper from Authentique, like I said. Here I'm cutting out one of the journaling cards because I want the plaid background. But I don't want to have to cut down a big 12 by 12 sheet of paper. I can't remember if this was in 6 by 6. I know I had a hard time finding it. It was sold out at Simon Says Stamp. It was sold out at scrapbook.com. And I finally ended up finding it at a Cherry on Top. But if you love purples and blues and silvers and a little bit of brown in your Christmas, or if you like these vintage images, then you're going to love this frosted collection by Authentique. Authentique isn't normally one that I would purchase from, but again, this paper just spoke to me. And Rob will tell you, I spent 2 nights on my iPad trying to find purple Christmas paper. It's really hard to find Christmas stuff in purple, especially a whole pack. I know last year that Kaiser Craft had a gorgeous pack, but I couldn't find it everywhere this year. So I'm using this purple polka dot. I'm going to cut that down, and I'm also going to cut down that 3 by 4 card that says Welcome to Winter, or the love one. Either one. It's the plaid, and I'm just cutting it off. That way I can keep the other ones intact. I think if you do Project Life, like pocket journaling, these are great. And these will also be great on the front of a card. And I'll probably show you guys doing that one day soon. I know most people are probably done doing their Christmas cards, but you're getting Christmas cards from me up until Christmas Day, and maybe even Christmas Day. So here I pulled out a basic gray card base. It's 5.5 by 8.5. I've scored it at 4 1/4. Of course, I have a Whisper White card layer that measures 4 by 5 1/4, and the polka dot piece of paper is also 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm bringing in my Big Shot because I'm going to use the cable knit embossing folder to emboss this piece of basic gray that measured 1.5 by 5.5, I think. So there you can see how everything is going. So the basic gray layer is just 1/8 of an inch. I think Roxy's measured 2 3/4 by 3.5. So then the basic gray layer was 1/16 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch. And then of course I just cut out the plaid card. And then I'm bringing in the Wishing You Everything, A Wish for Everything, Mary from Ready for Christmas, because I didn't want to use the Ball Humbug on this. And I wanted to create a snarky sentiment of my own, but again, I didn't have time this year, but next year we'll do these. I'll change them up a little bit and I'll show you, because I loved, if you guys haven't seen it, I will try to remember to link it at the end of this video when I did the North Pole photo shoot and I put Nailed It on the inside. That was probably my most favorite card that I made last year. And if you missed it, it was really funny. I took some stamps, various stamps, and I made them look like Polaroids, but like their head was cut off or their bottoms was cut off. It was really cute. I thought it turned out adorable. So I'll try to link that at the end. So I stamped that sentiment in Highland Heather, or did I use Gorgeous Grape? I don't remember, one of the two. I think they'll both work because that ribbon is actually Gorgeous Grape ribbon. So I'm going to adhere these 3 layers together with liquid glue, and then I'm going to pop it up using Stampin' Dimensionals. And then once I get that ready to go, I'm going to go ahead and adhere my layer to the card base using liquid glue. Again, this is Tombow liquid glue. It's one of my favorite adhesives. I prefer this over tape just because I never get anything straight on the first try. So a lot of times this gives me the opportunity to move stuff around before it is sealed and the deal is done. So I did get a little bit of adhesive on the side of the card, but I have an adhesive eraser. So once it dries, I can just bring that adhesive eraser. I think it's from Xyron, and you can just clean that up real quick. Takes 2 seconds. So I am going to be using Scotch tape to adhere this piece of Gorgeous Grape mini stripe ribbon. Again, this is from Stampin' Up, and it's one of my favorites. It's like I wanted them to bring this out in every single color that I love. All the brights colors, especially like Fleur de Flamingo and Coastal Cabana. But it's in Bermuda Bay, Poppy Parade, and Gorgeous Grape. Well done, Stampin' Up! Too on the new purples because they're my favorite. I was so sad when Elegant Eggplant and Perfect Plum retired, but they made up for it. So you're going to want to add a ton of liquid glue, or you're going to want to use like Fast Fuse, which is, I think, Tombow Extreme, because Stampin' Up! Had private labeled it, or like Terran tape or Score tape or something for this cable knit embossing, because it is a 3D embossing folder and you don't want it to pop off. So I'm just going to remove the adhesive off the back of this panel and then decide if I want it in the middle or if I want it over to the right. And then of course I'm going to tie a bow, but first it's a little crooked per usual. So I didn't show where I added the purple glitter gel pen to the berries, but I did that on her little headband. And of course, like I said, I used the silver to add the silver Sharpie, but I'm going to go ahead and add some faceted gems to that at the end. I wish I had little jingle bells. I need to go see if I can find some somewhere before Christmas is over. So thank you guys so much for joining me. Don't forget to check back tomorrow to find out the details of the giveaway. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you hadn't already, because that will be a requirement. You will have to be a subscriber to this channel. Let me know down below what you think of this card, and if you are excited to see me use this again next year. Don't forget to give this a thumbs up, share it with your friends if you haven't already. Thank you again so much. Like I said, next week I will be having thumb surgery on Monday, but I'm going to try to have cards for you until the end of the year. And yes, a few more days of Christmas, but it'll be okay, I promise. So that's it for me, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll check comments on these videos as soon as I can type again. And I hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas, a wonderful New Year, and I'll see you soon.